WNR stands for Rufus. We had to Google that. We're working on that. David Hunt is here from Hunt Auctions. He is a frequent visitor here every year, and I'm a sports nerd. We had Rudy Rudiger on earlier, and I told the story about having the Luis Aparicio jersey from 1973 in my closet, and I was afraid a moth was going to get to it. And every year you come by, and you always bring these things that are $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 auction pieces. I'm afraid to touch them, especially that Unitas jersey you have over there. I am going to touch that in a minute. I'm not touching that Tom Brady thing unless you want me to turn it into toilet paper because that's not my thing. But you get everything, and my wife will tell you that when your auction, your little catalogs come, I'm a real geek about looking at it. Now, and I've told you this before, I don't bid on a lot of stuff because I have a lot of stuff, and I don't personally need any more stuff for me. You were a great guy for me to know because at some point I'm going to go ring-a-ding-ding. Hey, Dave, bring that Mayflower van down here and load all of my stuff up and put it out on the internet and sell it because I need the money, or God forbid I ever need the money, but I have too much stuff. I have boxes and boxes, and I don't keep footballs and big stuff. Most of the stuff I have is very personal. It's a picture with someone, it's autographed to me, but I don't have a sports bar to display it. I don't have a man cave. If you come to my home, you would never know what I do for a living because there's nothing sports related in my home because I've been surrounded by it. But when you have a Johnny Unitas jersey, if you're not having it in the closet, right, you want to display it somewhere. Every sports bar is like a Hard Rock Cafe now. There's stuff everywhere. But you get really, really special stuff. And I don't even know where you come up with all this, but you have a Unitas jersey. So let's start with that. Can I touch it? I'm not touching the Brady thing, man. You get your beautiful assistants here from Philadelphia over here.
So, I think to sort of your point, what makes this fun is, look, it's a business, and these things are worth money, and it's how
a lot of money.
They are. But it's the history behind it, too. And sort of we look at this as almost a discovery process. Even
they have such a feel to them, these old jerseys, right?
Subtle things like this, even these little team repairs. Back then, you didn't get a new jersey when your jersey was torn. They repaired it, and then you used it again and again and again. So those are sort of like fingerprints, if you will, when we're trying to photo match or authenticate things. Not every time, but sometimes you can literally find a period photograph of him throwing
and find this patch.
And find the repair. So from an authenticity standpoint.
And you'd say that's 67. What is that, by the way? What year is that?
Of the jersey itself, late 60s, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're looking at.
I'm pretty good, right? That was pretty good. That was good.
That was
how I knew? I felt it. The material's different from the old. If I were to touch the Tom Brady jersey,
you sure you don't want to touch
which I'm not going to do.
We can let you if you want to wear it.
My armpit. Just let it touch my arm. Just something, vile that I'll. But where does I'm not touching it.
I'm aware.
Which game? Which Super Bowl did he win in that one?
This one is from a few years ago, from 14.
Okay.
But you're right. The earlier Unitas jersey was like a Doreen. It's almost like a heavy satin for your listeners out there. But this is more your traditional, the new
poly something.
Yeah, like the Nike, the on-fields that almost had that breathable material. And if you notice, a lot of people notice how tight they are, but they didn't want linemen gripping them, and that's why they don't have repairs.
I hope that has some purple blood on it. I hope.
I won't bring up what games they played.
Luke's shaking his head. What are you shaking your head about?
I'm
Will
amused
you touch
by
it?
I'd touch it, sure. See?
He just touched it.
It's a jersey.
You're out of the room tonight.
It's a jersey.
That's it. You're not allowed to stay with me anymore.
It's a jersey.
But I think that, look, everybody, every city, every team, every fan likes something different. And to your point, some of these things are.
Yeah, somebody in Boston thinks that friggin' thing's gold, right?
Some of these things are worth tens of thousands of dollars.
What is that worth, the Tom Brady? Because there's a million Tom Brady jerseys, right? Because he's been playing 17 years. He's worn a lot of different jerseys. So there's a lot of game-worn, modern stuff. Because I think Pete Rose is putting a different jersey on every night when he was hitting the baseball, right? Literally.
It's true, but it is interesting with football versus baseball. It's good you brought it up. Football only has 16 games each year. Baseball is 162. So you're not wrong that technically speaking, compared to a Unitas jersey, there are obviously more Bradys, more Peyton Mannings, Ray Lewis, whoever it may be. But with Brady specifically, why I don't completely know, but the inventory was extremely tightly managed by the Patriots and Brady. So when I say very few, this is only the third one we've had in 20 years, to give you a sense.
Okay.
So they do not turn up, and when they do, they bring a lot of money. And they're all NFL auction authenticated originally.
Well, we're getting into the point here, and all respect to Johnny U, God rest his soul. Brady's starting to become. I mean, not started, but he's Michael Jordan. There's a real separation.
Yeah.
Now that we're here again this week talking about this cheater, obviously, and this is a cheater jersey. It's a 14. Is it deflated or no? Is it full test jersey?
All I'm going to say is that a guy like I'll say this.
You're an Eagle fan, right?
I'm from Philly.
Right, so you're offended.
You remember
by
how
this.
he beat
us? Your
us?
ass once, right?
But I'll say this. And almost unilaterally, what you can say about him is this: whether you're an Eagles fan, a Ravens fan, whoever team you've been beaten by him fan,
everybody's been beaten by Tom Brady.
He continues to just produce and produce and produce, and when at some point you have to just say, you know what, he's easily one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and pretty much
if you're going to spend a lot of money on an NFL jersey of the modern era. If you want to hold value,
yes,
right?
That's right.
I mean, like whatever it's worth, it'll probably be worth more because it's Tom Brady.
Listen,
right?
These shirts we're bringing when we I think we sold our first one. It brought around 30 or 40,000, which sounds like an enormous amount of money, and it is.
But that was after you won the third one or whatever.
This one,
right?
as of today, literally, we're still a week away from the auction, is already at that level already, and we're a week away from the auction. So, it's to your point. If you're trying to buy it for investment, it's relevant. It's not why you should buy all these things. You should have fun with them. You should enjoy them, but you should also pay attention to who you're buying and what quality. I mean, look, his record is not going away. His championships are not getting taken back.
Although they should.
He's established.
That's for another year.
He's established what he is or isn't. And you can get a guy like Dak Prescott that's coming up that we've got a lot of his stuff. Carson Wentz, they're very popular. But they're not Tom Brady, and they won't be unless they stay around for 15 years and win a lot of rings.
You got a football here, too. What do you got there? That's Brett Favre's autograph. I see that.
Yeah.
David Hunt is here from Hunt Auctions. HuntAuctions.com, is that right?
Yep,
make sure I don't have my reading glasses on,
okay.
bro. I mean,
That's
this is
okay.
the difference. You used to know me before, when I was young.
Did.
Yeah,
It's true.
I didn't have reading glasses.
No glasses then.
And you're based up in the Philadelphia area and the suburbs up there, and anybody can find you. And if you love sports memorabilia, to me, the auction catalogs you send out a couple times a year, they're just fun. I don't know what to say. I mean, I look at them, and some stuff I'll be like, boy, if I was going to buy some, I'd buy that. That's kind of cool. And a lot of times it's goofy little press print stuff. I like small stuff. I mean, just from having had footballs and jersey and all that, it just doesn't take up as much space. I mean, I'm a space guy, Well, I like digital pictures.
It's funny. It matters, too, because a lot of people, as homes and get smaller, and a lot of people in apartments, townhouses, it's relevant. I mean, a lot more people buy smaller type items than necessarily big framed items. But we are very fortunate to have a huge amount of things from Brett Favre's personal collection. Brett,
now there's a guy that has a bunch of stuff that's sitting in a house in Mississippi somewhere, and he's on a tractor, wearing Wranglers. The hell's he need this stuff? I mean, at some point, I had Rudy around earlier. It's just like, how long am I going to keep that helmet in my guest room for 40 years? And the helmet's worth $50,000 or whatever. All right, well, let's let somebody else enjoy it.
You're completely right. And in Brett's case, the proceeds are going to Favre for his foundation.
Sure.
So it's great. I mean, you get fans that he keeps things that are special to him. Fans get to enjoy things that are great, authentic.
Yeah, this is just another game ball. This is just a Super Bowl ball.
To a guy on that level.
Show everybody, show up to the camera.
It's really cool.
This has the logo, and this was one of the first Super Bowls when the Ravens got in the league. This was the New Orleans Super Bowl from 96, 97 season.
Correct. That's right. Yeah. This is the one where he won, got the game ball, and then he obviously inscribed it.
This is the Desmond Howard game.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
So check that out.
Right.
Pretty cool. I think so. Anyway.
Yeah, really neat. And again,
and this was in his house.
Coming from Brad and having a certificate signed by him that this was his.
Also has his autograph on the side. Check that out. That's pretty cool. The light on that. Anyway.
Well, I mean, you get a guy with that iconic status too. I mean, it's. Listen, people ask me all the time, what are these things worth? What are they worth? They're not worth anything. They're worth what somebody will pay for them. But the market will bear that out. And when you get things that come from these Johnny Unitas, Brady's, Favre, whoever may be.
We do a lot of baseball stuff, too.
We do.
A lot of old school. I mean, you've had whole collections from lots of Hall of Fame players.
Yeah.
And I love looking at that stuff. Luke, you're not a geek about the stuff as much, right? But you go to a Hall of Fame and you see this stuff, and I just don't know how much of it you can have in your home or in your sports bar. If I had a sports bar, it'd be kind of different. But I love looking at this stuff, so that's why I have you buy every year. When's your next? So the auction for this is this weekend, correct?
Yeah. Yep. You can go to huntauctions.com, and there's almost 1,000 lots, and we bring expensive stuff here, but there's there's lots of fun $100, $200, $300 things.
The stuff that I find wacky is when you have Baltimore Bullets stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's not even really the Colts stuff or the Ravens stuff or whatever. It's like I'm an old Houston Oilers fan, you know? So when something pops up there, I'm like, well, that would look good on a wall if I had a wall for it, or, you know.
Well, I mean, but that's it. Everybody's taste is different. Everybody's looking for something different. So one thing that's important to us in the NFL is have something for everybody. So even the pieces that come right from NFL auction, all those proceeds go to NFL auction charities, breast cancer awareness, salute to service. And then even the vintage pieces, a portion of their proceeds go to it.
You had a lot of backstage passes. The sticker, and I have a billion of them because I was a music critic. But there was like a lot of them from the early 90s. It was, 200 backstage passes, and it was in a lot with, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and, Tina Turner
That sounds about right.
Rod Stewart,
sounds about right.
Yeah, and I looked at it, I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. I wonder what that fetches. And, for $80, I could have all the $100, $200. Because some things just aren't as and I guess collecting really is sports-centric. To a NASCAR person, some hood of a car is, to them, something they want more than a Tom Brady jersey.
I think that's right. I mean, again, we really don't focus on value. It's about we try to get the best quality, authentic items at whatever value level they happen to be. And then you draw interest accordingly. So we have NASCAR people that if we get great NASCAR stuff, then it does well and it's something that appeals to them. But we may have our baseball crowd or NFL crowd who have no interest in that. Obviously, we come here to the Super Bowl, we're focusing on football. The entire auction's football. But, it's always interesting. It amazes me. This is our 25th year doing this next year, and there's still stuff out there. There's still these sort of archive collections of things. The things from players, the NFL auction, obviously, you know the source. But it's amazing to know how much stuff is out there and how much interest there is. The market just continues to grow. The pricing continues to go up.
And people find this stuff.
They love it. They absolutely love it.
United's jersey, where's that from?
Long story, but basically originated from a Chestertown, Maryland gentleman, Eastern Shore, and got it from somebody who knew Fred Schubach with the Colts. Got it right from him. And the coolest part, but one of the coolest parts about this jersey is there's actually a Baltimore Sun. You know that old newspaper magazine used to get inside the Sun on the weekend?
Sun magazine, sure.
Yeah. So there's a picture of this guy's house because it was a well-known home in the Eastern Shore of Maryland, and this jersey's in a frame over the mantelpiece in like the 70s. So does that mean anything? It doesn't mean anything to what the jersey is or isn't, but from a provenance standpoint, people like to see that. They like to see where it sort of traveled from Johnny's.
Well, authenticity is what it's all about.
It is, yeah. And we were talking about photo matching. That you can't photo match every single piece, obviously, in that period. It's not even possible with the quality of photography, and you just have to almost get lucky to see it. But every one of those layers that you add on of authenticity, it really becomes more and more desirable to the collectors because they know, I hate to say it this way, but they know, okay, well, we know that this piece, at least as of 1972, was hanging over this mantelpiece in this frame. That doesn't mean it's real, but it means that it wasn't a forgery or something made up in the 1980s to fool somebody when the market matured. So you just sort of work backwards from that and go from there.
You brought me a United's jersey. You brought me a helmet. What's that going to fetch at this point?
We've had them bring, the United's jerseys and helmets, and they are not very large in population, but they bring anywhere from 50 to 100 and some odd thousand a piece. I think this one's going to be right in the middle of that, about 100,000 would be my expectation. It's a really nice example.
And the Brady piece.
Brady, again, it's already at 37,000 the bidding. I would literally expect this, given the status that he's obtained at this point, to be 50,000 plus.
Remember when Mike Warren was buying the Cal Ripken baseballs? And you remember that, Luke?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
the Orioles had incredible juice for that sort of stuff with the Palmer and the Brooks. I mean, we've had a lot of legends in Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how much Ray Lewis stuff floats around or John Ogden stuff floating around at this point, but we got some legends. Ed Reed. There's going to be more of that happening.
In football, it is interesting. I mean, Colts, Abs, Ravens,
baseball used to run memorabilia.
Yes.
But in the last 15 years, even baseball cards always had more value than football cards.
They did. And football has really changed. It's one of our goals, our stated goals. Years ago, we started this almost a decade ago with the NFL auction, is to build this market. Baseball was ahead. There's no question about it. And it has really flipped. It's really started to grow a lot where the modern jerseys, we're talking about a Brady jersey, it's no matter what you think of as a player, it's at almost $50,000. There are no baseball modern jerseys that are at that level that I know of. So that it's not to say it's better or worse, but it's an interesting market comparison as it continues to grow.
Well, there's a million Derek Jeter jerseys, right? Literally.
There's a lot more because of the games they played. Again, back.
How often do they change a jersey in the big leagues? I bet you don't even know that, Luke. You're in the locker room all the time, right?
They use first of all, they have all the different special days now
Oh,
where
my
they
God.
they
They
auction
got all
off
those
stuff.
clown outfits
Yeah.
and
But
the
just
red,
the-
white, and blue
Yeah.
and all that.
So you have that, but just their regular jerseys, I mean, they go through plenty. I mean, if
Chris Davis wore a dozen jerseys last year.
Any given time, I mean, I'm just talking at one time, there's 4 or 5 of his home white jerseys just hanging up in his locker.
There's not dozens of them, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
And compared to football, again, they play 16 games. Now, it's a rougher game. I'm sure they don't just wear one jersey all year. I'm not saying that. But there are very, very few of the authentic, that being the key word, game used, not just game issued, like made but never worn, game used football jerseys of the Peyton Mannings, the Bradys, the Russell Wilsons. I mean, very, very few come out each year.
Do most players take them home, you think? I mean, to some degree. I probably should ask James Ahedebo when he's by. Do you have a Lions jersey in your closet? Do you have,
I'm guessing
most players
they don't
probably
take home
want
every
one.
single one, but they take home one. But the big thing now, and you can speak to this, David, now you have the jersey exchange thing going on. And
that's right.
I'm guessing there could be an interesting element to that down the line from a resale standpoint.
No question. We've seen it with players from the 70s and 80s where they started doing that a little bit.
Well, in soccer, it's been going on for 50 years, right?
We'll get it, and it's definitely occurring in football where we're getting collections from guys that played in the 80s and 90s in football and baseball who traded jerseys. Not like they do at the exchange now, but they traded them. And the interesting part is sometimes we'll have a player who maybe didn't turn out to be a great player, but he played for 3 or 4 years, but he happened to trade jerseys with a guy that's a Hall of Famer now. So he'll say, what's the best thing in my collection? Well, actually, it's nothing that relates to you. It's this guy's jersey. So we've had that happen a lot of times. So it's interesting with football. But each player's different. Again, some players, I'm not speaking for Tom Brady in any way, shape, or form, but a guy on Brady's level that has accomplished what he has, I'm positive that if he wanted a few jerseys to keep for himself, I'm guessing, but I'm pretty sure he probably could. And he should, frankly, but the team then does some charitable stuff. But bottom line, they're really, you hear limited edition, rare all the time. I mean, we are actually very careful about using those words because they're overused. But with some of these jerseys, even though they are modern era, and you're right, there are, he's played for a number of years, they really don't come up all. I mean, for to do this for 20 plus years, and we've had 3, including this one, I've had more Unitas jerseys than I've had Tom Brady jerseys to give you a sense of the rarity of it. So
David Hunt here from Hunt Auctions up in Philadelphia. We don't hold that against him most of the time. We still visit once in a while. You can find him at Hunt Auctions and check out all this stuff. And I love the catalog. So great having you by.
Thank you. Good
Always a pleasure, man. David Hunt here from Hunt Auctions. You can find us out in the Buy a Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day. We're in Houston all week. Now, we're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube and our WNST TV channel. And, of course, our morning newspaper ships to your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That is brought to you by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. Last but never least, any breaking news that happens this week, Luke's over there monitoring Twitter right now. We'll send it out on the WNST text service. That's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, and, of course, streaming live from Houston. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.